This week I took part in the Tayside Challenge, an 81-mile cycling sportive located just outside Perth. The event was put on as a charity fundraiser by the Perth Kinnoull Rotary Club in partnership with Malawi Fruits, and even featured celebrity cyclist Mark Bowman, who's known for cycling around the world in just 78 days. This would be the most I'd ever cycle in a day by a single mile, with my previous record being 80 miles in a day in the video where I tried to beat the sun across Britain. But my confidence was high, and so I leave it off with me early in the morning. Hi everyone, welcome to today's video, where I'm going to be riding in the Tayside Challenge, just northwest of Perth, but hotels in that area were too expensive last night, so we're here in Stirling. It's half an hour before my train leaves because I'm paranoid, so I'm just meandering around. Look at that, healthy breakfast for athletic activity. Here in Perth, it is the third video of 6 that I'm in Perth, which I think is really cool. And so now I'm gonna head off to the town that I gotta start off in. Alright, I've made it. Hi everyone. So the pack's sort of thinned out. Either that or I've been left behind. Well, it's a bit above. There's 3 guys behind me. There's 1 guy who I can see up ahead. But it was really crazy riding with a group of people the first time because there's some sort of, maybe not competitiveness, but a drive to not fall behind, which inevitably happened. But it was really interesting. It kept me going really fast, so it's like a little speed boost at the beginning. And now we're gonna go regular pace for the next 7-8 hours. So, should be fun, but I'm gonna get back to cycling now. One of the sketchy parts about this whole thing is that the signs telling you where to go are really not too frequent. So, and if you miss one, you go very off course. So anytime there's a stretch of like 20 minutes where I don't see another cyclist or a sign, it's sort of like, uh-oh. When was the last one? How far am I off course, if I am off course? But luckily just saw that the 27 mile point food station isn't half a mile, so we're going the right way. Heading towards the large climb now, I think. That's what people back at the food stop said. It's 3 miles, very steep, but it's like 7 miles of decline afterward. So, evens out. Alright, nice talking to you. My fear at the moment is that is what we have to climb. I really hope not. More fun stuff. It started raining. Yay. It's not that hard, but it's supposed to continue for a few hours now, which sucks. That hill earlier ended up not being the large climb, but I think I finally made it to the large climb. This is nice though. I like this sign, because I passed one earlier that just said danger. Big red sign just said danger. Didn't say what the danger was. And you cycle through like, okay, that doesn't prepare me for anything. I just know the danger of what. It's kind of wild how high up it is. It's really cool. But it's just started to rain again. And you can't really, the camera can't really give you a good idea of how steep the hill is. That bit's probably doable. I'm not going to though, because I'm in a tad bit of pain from walking the bike up the last however much of the hill, because I tried cycling it, I get a few yards and then I just don't move. So we're walking the bike. As I think I said earlier, pretty sure this is 3 miles of uphill. So, having fun. This hill is just a constant cycle of, oh, that's cyclable, and then it not being cyclable, and then walking the bike. This is nice though. This is the first like somewhat, no, it's not flat, but somewhat cyclable stretch for me. Woo. It's never ending. Every time you get to a spot where it's like, oh, it can't possibly go further from here, it goes further. It just continues to go up. I'm not enjoying this. Amazing ride down the mountain. It took a whole 3 minutes from the point where the road started to descend and actually getting to the bottom. It was ridiculous. It was so cool. My back tire's doing something funky again. By something funky, it's flat-ish. It's a completely different tube from the last time when it punctured. But I'm near the end. I'm just gonna inflate it and hope that does the job for now. It didn't want to inflate too much, so this is what we're dealing with. That might look better on camera. Yeah, home stretch. Just gotta hope that doesn't get worse. It got worse. I made it about 70 yards before the tire was pretty much flat again. So I got off, switched the tube out, which seemed to work perfectly until I was trying to put the tire back on. My little tool to do that snapped. And if you know cycling, you know it's pretty much impossible to put it back on without one of these. So the tire was stuck like this. I'll do a little show and tell. Basically the tube is supposed to go on here and it's held in by the outer tire, but you can't get the outer tire into place without the tool. So the wheel was stuck. It wouldn't even rotate because this was stopping it. So it was worse than having a flat. Because with a flat, you can still walk the bike, the tires still rotate, but with that issue, the bike can't, the wheel cannot rotate. So the rescue car had to come get me and drive me back with only 7 miles to go in the Sportive. And they told me on the way back that the Americans really showed out in force today because of the 400 cyclists, there were only 2 Americans. I broke down and the other guy took a wrong turn and cycled off into the ether, as it was described to me. By the time they were able to get him, he'd cycled 92 miles instead of the 81 miles and made it closer to the Atlantic Ocean than he was to Perth. But the race organizers were super helpful and got us both back to the train station in Perth in one piece. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, Ewan, this video title's misleading. You didn't cycle more than you've ever cycled. You only cycled 74 miles, which you've done before on this channel. And yes, I cycled 74 miles up the Sportive, but if you remember, I started the day in Stirling. And when I was in Stirling, I had to ride my bike from the hotel to the train station, which was 2.1 miles. And I'm using the walking directions here because they're more accurate to what I actually cycled than the cycling directions are, which were actually longer. And then once I got to Perth, I had to cycle from the train station to the starting point, which was 6.6 miles. So if you add those together with the 74 miles that I cycled in the Sportive, I cycled 82.7 miles in that day, which is the most I've ever cycled in a day. While I wish I could sit here and say that I cycled the entire Sportive and not have to say, oh no, look, I cycled from the hotel to make up the numbers. That isn't what happened. And so with that unfortunate ending, thank you for watching, and please remember to subscribe and check out the other videos if you like this one.